Okay, welcome everyone. Let's get going. We have one more guest to bring into the room. Okay, Mike, welcome to the call. You stepped into the role of president at a company with 45 years ish. I mean, 30 years of the company, 45 years as a patent or the invention in itself. What excited you most about joining Immunotech at this exact moment in time in your life? Let's start there.
Yeah, that's a great question. I answer that a lot to people because, my career, those of you that don't know me, I've been involved in network marketing for 27 years. I told someone a couple days ago that my entire net worth, everything that you add up to your net worth, it's all been derived from income in network marketing. Every dime that I have earned has ultimately started from network marketing, and obviously 27 years of building businesses and having a lot of failures at the same time has led me to learn a lot about the industry, a lot about companies, what to look for, timing. And the short answer, Tibor, is I was in 2008, I believe it was. I was tasked with growing a company that was 18 years in business. It was actually a company out of Mexico that had moved to the United States, 18 years in business. They had never created over like 1.5 million a month in US sales.
Hmm.
And I saw stability there. I saw they had a little bit of a foundation. They had some period of time under their belt. They had a product that it wasn't unique, but it could have a story built around it. And we focused, and in 10 months, we created 18 million a month in sales. We did combined 100 US million dollars in that first 10 months.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that to impress you, and I didn't do all that myself. I'm simply saying I was exposed to, if you could find a right company
Hmm.
that hadn't quite hit momentum yet,
Hmm.
they had a decent foundation, they had some time under their belt, with the right tweaks here and there, the right people put in the right places, magic could happen. And in 2011, I had that happen, an opportunity again where I became the head of a company that was 10 years old, an American based company, a consumable product, had a unique story, but they hadn't quite hit momentum. Maybe they were doing, I think they were doing a little more than the other company, maybe about 3 million a month. And over the next 10 years, we scaled that business and we created over 5 billion US dollars in combined sales. And it was, I mean, we had one year we were doing, 760 million, one year 700 million. I mean, big numbers when you're thinking about what it takes to create that. And again,
Yeah.
I didn't do all that myself. I was a number two in the company. I was sitting in a position where I had a lot of influence, a lot of authority. We brought a lot of business to the table. Actually, in Europe was a huge part of our business. France, Scandinavia. I opened Norway. I opened all those different markets. And in 2021, I exited that company after 10 years. Financially, we were set for life. It was the first time in my life that I didn't need an opportunity from a financial perspective, and I wasn't looking for one. I retired at the age of 43. I had two young kids, and I was just going to be dad and live off our investments and,
Right.
maybe invest in some other businesses. But I had no intention of getting back involved in network marketing because that's all I had ever done my entire career until I actually got some health concerns. I mean, I'm 43. I've worked my whole life, sacrificed, and all of a sudden I'm getting some bad blood work back where I'm like, oh man, these levels aren't so good. I'm gonna keel over from a stroke if I don't watch it
Oh
because
no.
during a year or two, and I'm serious. I'm not actually making a joke there. I mean, it was a situation where on the
Right.
outside I felt okay,
Hmm.
but when I looked at, I was eating out 3 days a week. I mean, three times a day, 7 days a week. I
Mm.
was just not watching my diet. I'd gained a lot of weight, and my body just did not respond well to that. And what was amazing was that, my wife recognized it, I recognized it, and we said, you know what, let's get a hold of this. We got our whole lives ahead of us. And I made a short list of about 4 or 5 people that owned products, owned companies that I knew were good, but I didn't know all the details of them. And my only first intention was to get a product to get healthy, to fix me. And my first call was to Mauricio Domenzine, the CEO of Immunotec. And I knew he had a great product, but I wanted to understand it more. And when he explained it to me, and then I did a little bit of research, and then I started looking at the global impact of chronic disease, and you realize, like in the US, 7 out of 10 people are suffering from some sort of chronic disease or
Mm.
chronic condition. Could be asthma, could be lupus, could be thyroid problems, could be cancer, could be heart, could be anything, right? There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of chronic conditions and diseases. But
Right.
7 out of 10 in America have that. And I was kind of one of them in that moment at a young age. And when I saw this product and I started researching it, and I'm not a researcher, by the way. I'm not the guy who gets into the product details and wants to know everything that's in it. But now it was personal to me. I heard somebody tell me once, they said, you can have 99 problems. You can have 1,000 problems. You can have 10,000 problems. But
Mhm.
when your health is one of those, you have one. And that's where I was at. And I got super laser focused
Mhm.
on fixing myself because I saw the power of the research that this product had had over 45-year period, 30 years in actual business. So that's what got me to the table. The reason that I'm sitting here today as president of the company was after we were done with that conversation, I asked Mauricio one simple question. I said, "Hey, how's your business doing?" Because I we didn't talk business at all. We talked product. And he goes, "Well, we did about 200 million in sales." And
Wow.
I'm like, "That's impressive. That's a really good number." I'm like, "You must be crushing it here in the United States and
Mhm.
Canada, Europe." And he goes, "Actually, majority of all of our products sold, 98% are to Latino households.
Oh, wow.
Mexico, Latin America, Spain specifically, in the
Mm.
US, in Spanish households." And I
Mm.
said, "So you're telling me you got a 30-year-old company that virtually no European, no Canadian, and no American that doesn't speak Spanish, right? Predominantly in the home,
Right.
they don't know about it. And you're unheard of as an opportunity in the network marketing space, even though I had known about the company because I had known Mauricio for 10 years. So when I looked at all of that, I instantly went back to 2008 and I thought, you know
Wow.
what? Company was established, had a little bit of stability. We created 100 million in 10 months. Then I went back to 2011 and I'm like, I had a 10-year period where we had an established company, a little bit of foundation, they hadn't hit momentum, and we did 5 billion without any science, any studies, any systematic approach to scalable growth. And Immunotech has all that. So I thought, you know what? Third time's a charm, they say. So
Hey.
I thought, you know what? Maybe Mauricio, we should partner and we should go take this around the world and share this first and foremost because the product is absolutely life changing for people.
Mm.
I'm in the best shape of my life. I got definition, I got muscle, my blood work is perfect. And this was August 24. I started with the company until today. So it's not like this is something that takes, a long time to impact people. But what I saw was opportunity to take this brand globally that nobody had ever heard of, but you didn't have the risk of the startup. You had the mentality of a new company,
Mhm.
right? It's not a new company, but you had the mentality of a new company with the foundation. And what I love is that we've really attracted, we started out attracting, I would call the folks that were older than me, right?
Mhm.
So I'm 48. We had a lot of 80-year-olds and 70-year-olds and 60-year-olds were like the young ones in the group when I got started August 2024. Today, because of the social media and the expansion to Europe and the expansion across the US, our demographic that's coming in the business now, we have 30-year-olds, high 20-year-olds,
Yeah.
young families that want to not have to go through what some of us have already experienced. We've worked on our health, but now they're trying to avoid that. So we're able to really start people young and carry it all the way through, through their life and give them an amazing quality of life on the outside and on the inside. So when I saw that, and I saw what we've been able to do in the past with much less, I thought this could be the multi-billion-dollar brand that I've been looking for my whole career. Didn't know it, didn't think about it, but it sometimes things just get put in your path by the big guy upstairs, and you just got to go, I should probably listen.
Wow, that's an amazing story. And we when we met each other the first time, just so everybody knows why I especially grew fond of Mike very, very fast, like in split seconds. Not only he's an amazing guy, his whole family is just amazing and lovable, and they are so amazing, kind people and such. And we live very close to each other, right, Mike? So I mean,
We
we are.
do, like an
Uh,
hour away.
yeah, 1 hour and 22 minutes according to the GPS, exactly to your doorstep. So we met the first time. This was in January, I believe. Some maybe December. When was it? I don't even remember. Anyway, a
Something
while
like
ago.
that. Yeah, yeah, one or the other.
Yeah, and we had friends that are from the past, and then Mike goes. We talked about a couple of persons, and he goes, "Wait a minute, are you the Tibor they have been talking to me about 20 years ago?" I remember that.
Oh, it's true. I had heard about it's so funny. I have friends in Scandinavia and across
Yeah.
Europe, and I'd always heard about this guy Tibor. If we could just get Tibor on the team, if we could get
Uh,
Tibor to join the business, things would go crazy and things would explode. And it was,
uh,
it was like I invited Tibor and Kim up to the house. Kim was out of town in the beginning, so it was just Tibor and me and
yeah.
my wife, and we were sitting down and we were talking, and literally, I think I jumped up in the middle of the conversation and I go, wait a second.
Yep.
Tibor, holy cow, you're the guy. And
Yeah.
and it was just funny because it didn't hit me until about halfway through the conversation that
Yeah.
I knew this guy. I just hadn't been introduced to him.
And that was also a nice uh, feeling for me that it's kind of vetting, kind of like a lot of people
Absolutely.
just blah 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 in this industry, and the game how it is. And I was so grateful that you had some reference of where I come from and such, and there was a nice, and I have the highest respect for you, Mike, and everybody loves you. So, Mike, the second question, if we bridge from from that. Place for people who may be hearing about Immunotech for the first time here,
Yes.
or maybe they listen to this kind of podcast, whatever we are doing right now. Um, in simple terms, what makes this company and its flagship product like Immunocal different from everything else out there in the wellness space?
Great question. Easy answer. 80 patents, 92 published studies, 26 gold standard studies on humans. There's not another product in the history of direct sales, current or past, that have anywhere near the research that's been done by independent people. So
Mm,
when you think about just the Munical, our number one lead product, and
mm,
we have a sport version, a platinum version, but just take this one alone. This product has been researched by Harvard. It's been researched by European universities, American universities, Canadian universities, and they take this actual product, they mix it up just like we tell them to, and they study people who have cancer. They study people who have leukemia. They study children who have autism, right? Different universities are going to do different studies. And
right,
they're real human clinical trials that are double blind, placebo. We're not involved in them, right? They're not done in our laboratory where we can make things look a certain way. We provide the product. They want to do a study on a particular illness or condition. We allow them to take our product and do that.
I see.
And then when they're done, they publish their results and we show them to the world. We don't evaluate them. We don't have an input on them. We can't manipulate them. We can't talk about them because these are universities that get their funding and their credibility from being, independent. And so many times in network marketing, I always laugh when every time I say I've been in the business 27 years, it always goes through my head. What I don't want people to hear is that just because I've been in network marketing 27 years doesn't make me an expert.
Yeah.
What makes me an expert is that we've created billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars in sales around the world in these 27 years. I've held the role of customer service representative,
Mm.
order taker, shipping guy, president, CEO, owner, top field leader, top
Wow.
recruiter, top customer gatherer. I've worn all those hats, and
Yeah.
I've been in like every position you can imagine in network marketing. So when I say 27 years, like when I hear somebody say that just, they joined Amway, 27 years ago, like big deal, right? Probably a
Mm.
good education, but what did you do with that? When I say I have never seen a product like this, it's because it hasn't existed. I live for this business. I study this business. When I get up, I read about network marketing. During the day, I'm studying companies. I'm looking what's going on to see how can we make modifications to go to that next level. It's who I am. It's what I do.
Yeah.
So when you think about the differentiation of here and other companies, there's a company, I'm not going to say the name, it's irrelevant, but they're a growing company. They did $1 billion in sales last year.
Mm.
They're perpetuating science as they have all of these research papers,
Mm-hmm.
but they're in paid advertising marketing journals that they
Mm.
have paid to take their information that they wrote and put it into a marketing journal. That's not science,
Not the
right?
same.
That's
Mm.
paid advertising, and I have
Mm.
no problem with it. There's nothing wrong with it. But
Mm-hmm.
when you want to impact humanity and have the opportunity that we have to grow across the world the way we're doing right now, you've got to have solid science. I've got to be able to look, Tibor in the eye and Pax in the eye and say, hey, I know this product will work. It will work for you because it works for everybody. It's clinically proven to raise your natural glutathione levels, right? We have other products you can experience as well, but this one, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, everybody who takes it gets positive results. You may not feel it the first day. You may not experience some physical change the first week,
Mm.
but I know when you take a 45-year-old research product with all of the history that we have, it's not on trial anymore, right? You get a startup, you get a lot of these new products are popping out, GLP products,
Mm.
and all these things, and it's like we know GLPs work. We know Ozempic works, the fat loss shot, at least over the US, it's going crazy.
Yeah.
But we also know that it kills your muscle, right? It's a fact. Like your face droops when you get on this product. Like it takes away your muscle.
Mm.
There's not a lot of research on that. We're finding that out in real time. This has a 45-year track record that we can look back over 45 years and anybody and everybody can take this from a 2-year-old to a 200-year-old, right? And you can mix it in yogurt, you can mix it in ice cream, you can mix it in applesauce, you can mix it in orange juice and water, you can add boosters to it. No matter how you take it, you get this in your body. It's the perfect food for your body to activate intercellular glutathione production. And it's the only natural substance in the world that's been proven clinically to raise your glutathione levels. So when you think about what makes us unique, what makes us special, there's literally no other product on the market that does what this does. There's glutathione on the market,
Mm.
right? But that's like, I heard Dr. Gutman say one time, if you want to become smarter, you don't eat brains. Like, think about that, right? Like, everybody's probably seen this. This is going to sound horrible, but I'm going to say it. You
Go
guys all,
ahead, go ahead.
you're European. You will be okay with it.
Yeah, we can take it.
Americans would be like, you know,
We are
um,
Vikings.
you remember the movie Indiana Jones,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah, with
Indiana
the
Jones, and they ate the monkey brains in that
yes.
one thing. Like eating brains doesn't make you smarter,
Mm,
right? Eating artificial glutathione, getting glutathione injections doesn't make your body's glutathione go up, right? You have
right.
to trigger your body to activate the production. And the only people that have figured out how to do it in the last 45 years is Immunotec. And when you look at that, and you know that's a fact, right? That's not an opinion, that's a very valid fact. And then when you look at chronic disease and you see that virtually every person who has a chronic disease, a chronic condition, and we can go across the board from kids to old folks and everybody in between,
Mm,
they have low glutathione levels if you have a chronic disease. Raise your glutathione levels, all of a sudden, I'm a personal walking billboard, your chronic condition symptoms go down as your glutathione levels go up.
right.
This is not glutathione. This is the purest form of protein that you put in your body that has a lot of science behind it. That I look at this almost like a biotech product. And the reason
Mm,
I say technology, it's your body's biology working with technology. This goes through a system during the manufacturing process,
mm,
and it bonds the amino acids together, and we call it bonded cysteine. That's our branded name that we've patented.
yeah,
And the ultimate thing that it does is when you consume it, it stays bonded intact together as it makes its way through your digestive system and through your gut. And right, we've heard 90% of your immune system is in your gut. So this has to make it through all that to get into your cells to activate your glutathione production. And
right.
it's remarkable that it can do it. But we've seen it over and over and over. And I think last thing on that topic, Tibor, is
Yes.
I would encourage everybody that's new, take a before picture of your face, of your body, clothed, unclothed. You don't have to show it to anybody, but you need to see the changes
Mm,
physically
mm,
that your body can go through. I have seen, especially women that have inflammation, I've seen them in 5 days. They've not lost weight, but their face is skinnier because the
mm-hmm.
inflammation is just gone,
Yeah.
because they've given their body something that it's never had before, and it's starting the process of raising the glutathione. So take those pictures. I would recommend, if you're new, take them every week or two over the first 6 7 months, and just get a good, and you can kind of swipe through and you can just see, the change in your complexion, in your skin, and in the tone. I can tell you from personal experience, when you look, we have a study that talks about this grows muscle, right? So you think about, what does that mean? Well, usually you think you got to go lift weights to grow muscle. This actually helps your body grow muscle. I have never been an out of shape guy, but I've never really been in shape either. I've never had like definition of my arms and muscles and things like that. I've always been a relatively strong guy, but that's just because I've been an athlete, played
Yeah, you
baseball.
look great, Mike. I mean, like
And
when I
but
met you.
now when I got on this product a year later, like I've got definition.
Mm,
My veins are popping, and I'm not doing anything different, right? I'm taking this product. I'm eating healthier for sure, but it's when you give your body what it needs. This is the most perfect food that you can take to get to that next level of health.
so you would say that this is an important product also to take as a for humans,
It
you know.
it's the foundation of
Yeah,
health.
yeah,
I mean,
it's
when
a
you look
foundational.
at, when I was putting together the Immunobar presentation
Mm,
and trying to come up with a very easy way to explain the product,
hmm.
I asked ChatGPT. I grabbed my phone, I started talking to ChatGPT, and I said, I need to know what is the most important thing in our body. If you had to pick one, I know it's hard to. I talk to Chat GPT like they're my shrink, my counselor, my
Oh,
psychiatrist. I said, if you have to pick one, one thing in the whole body that impacts the most health in our body.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? And it came back and it said if you had to pick one, it would be glutathione.
Wow.
And I didn't expect that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought glutathione might be in the top 10,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know enough about it at that point. I thought it'd be like blood. That's in my mind, that's what I thought, like blood, right? Blood. There's a lot of blood. Every time if I get cut, there's blood. There's a lot of it.
Right.
Or I thought water, right? We've always heard our body's made up of 90% water. I thought water must be that.
Yeah.
But it was glutathione because glutathione is in every single cell of
Mm.
your body, all your blood cells, all the cells that the water's in, right? It's in every single cell. So when you think about the significance of that, and the majority of people don't even know what it is or exist, we don't need to educate them, right? Complexity equals chaos. Simplicity equals duplication. So we just need to say, hey, I found something really cool that'll make you healthy. Want to try it, right? Let them try it. Mix it in ice cream. Mix it up for them. Give them a body shot, or give them another product like whatever it may be. Europe's a little different with different product offerings, but give them a booster, an energy booster. Let them feel good, and just get them on something with Immunotec, because if you get them on something, the odds of them adding this to their life and making a life change is crucial. My kids don't go without this. My wife doesn't go without this.
Mm.
We all take different versions of it, but it is the foundation to health. And it's not just us saying that, it's when you do your research, it's proven out there. And I think the other thing that impresses me about it is that it completes other products.
Mm.
So like when you look at, I mentioned GLP-1s earlier. We have people that are taking Ozempic, the real GLP-1, not the drops or the pills that marketers are coming up with, but a real GLP-1 pharmaceutical.
Mm-hmm.
It is proven their muscles will decrease. They will have some droopiness. They will absolutely lose muscle tone. It's just part of it. If you take Ozempic, GLP-1, and you add this product to it, any version, this builds muscle. So if this is helping you lose weight, but you're losing muscle, and this is building muscle, all of a sudden,
Uh-huh.
you're kind of balanced, if you will, right? You're
Yeah.
offsetting what the bad thing is doing, and this is actually doing a positive for that. So at least in America, you look at how big that market is, just that market alone, if somebody just talked to people and said, who do you know that's on Ozempic? Who do you know that's on a GLP-1? Who do you know that's on a GLP-2? Right? There's tens and tens of millions of people. They need this. They may not know it exists. They may not know they need it, but you just need to show them that this builds muscle. Here's a study. You're going to lose it. You might want to offset it. If you're going to lose the weight, you might as well have the muscle to go with it.
How many pouches in one day is your max you ever took? And what
Yeah, I,
happens if somebody will go crazy and take like gazillion pouches a day?
that's not me. Funny enough, I'm not an overdoer. I take a lot of our supplements. I take a lot. Take the omega. We've got an amazing omega supplement. Amazing omega supplement.
Yeah.
We've got great greens products. The multivitamin is my favorite that I've ever used in my career, and that
Mhm.
I would say that if I wasn't selling it, I really like the way I feel on it.
Mm.
But probably three has been my max. I do the CEO shot to
Okay.
where I would put the sport, the platinum, and the
All
blue
three of them
together,
in
and
one. All three
all
of them.
three in one, along with the greens, along with the orange, and just take it. They call it the bomb.
Whoa,
Um,
dude.
that's
Okay.
a really really good one. So the whole idea is that it's protein, right? So when you reduce it down to the ridiculous, right? Forget all the science, forget everything.
Mm.
Your bodies respond positively to protein. This is the purest, most unadulterated form of protein that you can put into your body. So you think about steak, you think about chicken, you think about fish, you think about,
Yeah, the BV
pecans.
value, the BV value you're talking about, right?
Correct, correct.
Mm.
This is the purest form. So it's
Mm.
just an amazing thing for your body. So if you take, one of these, I think it's 9 grams of protein. You take three of them, it's 27 grams of protein. You take that before you do anything in the morning, then you go for a 30-minute walk, watch the pounds fall off. right? You
Mm.
take 27 to 30 grams of protein first thing in the morning, and you go for a 30-minute walk, you'll be amazed at how much weight you will lose just from consuming Immunical. 3 pouches in the morning before you do anything else, and do 30 minutes of just steady cardio. Could be walk, could be a treadmill, could be anything. It's amazing. But that's 3 packs in the morning.
Yeah, and the interesting part there, as I learned from you and the Dr. Gottman, is that the protein value are different from different, chicken. This is as double value of protein quality as chicken, I learned. It's double, like the bioavailability to be able to use the protein in the muscles and the cells. So yeah, unbelievable. Um,
Yeah, and I want to answer a couple things real quick.
yeah,
I see a question. Shouldn't you wait 30 minutes before eating something like yogurt after taking Immunotec, Immunical? I've never heard that. I've heard people actually mix it in yogurt, right? Vanilla yogurt, vanilla ice cream. Children that have autism or tendencies not to like certain textures and flavors, right?
hmm,
They're not drinking a shot of this. Their parents are actually just pouring this in ice cream or in like a vanilla yogurt, and they're just eating it and they don't even know they're taking it, right? It's just they're just added some protein to it. So I've never heard anything that you need to wait. I know I don't, because sometimes I mix it in yogurt myself when I take it, because I eat a lot of yogurt every single day, the Greek yogurt. And then the omega product Hannah asked about it's I don't have it in my office right now. It's in my pantry, but it's just a great omega. It's a capsule. I forget, it's the ratio that you're supposed to have with the DHEA. I'm a big omega fan,
yeah.
but I think that at the end of the day, just take an omega. Like the brand is irrelevant as much. It's great for the brain. I think we have a very pure, amazing form of omega, and
Mm.
people get great results on it. So if you're already taking an omega from somewhere else, stop buying that one, start buying this one.
Yay. Okay. More people coming into the room. Okay, doke. So that's interesting. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And the EU launch is happening right now.
Yeah.
Why is this the perfect time for Europe? What's the shift in wellness that's already started, and why do you believe people in Europe are ready for Immunotech? Rawr.
Great question. I mean, I can only speak from my experience. My experience in Europe has been predominantly Scandinavia, France, Austria, Germany, Italy, Spain. That's kind of the UK. That's been kind of my main markets that
Mm-hmm.
I've worked in, and I worked only when we brought a company that was established into those markets. So like I've never done a startup in Europe. I've never taken a company that's been established here and grown it. It's always been when it's newly introduced. And if you look at timing in network marketing, just reality of people hearing about something,
Mm-hmm.
when you start early, there's less people that know about it, which means there's more people for you to talk to that don't know about it. So
Mm.
it's just kind of a logical thing. If you look at it that way, there's still plenty of people 5 years from now that are never going to heard about Immunical. But right now in Europe, virtually nobody has. So it's like you go from virtually nobody to some people 5 years from now.
Mm.
But there's just a lot of opportunity here in the network marketing space. You can talk to people, just in the health professions. This is a product that it goes out of network marketing into doctors, into gyms. I mean, because this is listed in the Canadian and the American physician's desk reference. So like medical doctors, they get pushed this by their own doctor books saying this is something that you need to pay attention to.
Mm.
And because it has science, real science, people that usually may be a little standoffish to network marketing because they're not sure if it's been tested or this or that, they'll listen to you because you can simply send them a study. You can send them the stuff that they want to consume.
Mm.
I have no interest in reading a 100-page document on science, right? I did enough research. I believe in the product. I've got on it. I've done it, but it's there if you need it. So when you think about Europe specifically, outside of Spain, Spain was kind of the hub that started everything in Europe. All of those other markets that I mentioned, all of Scandinavia, the UK, um, Germany, France, Switzerland, Hungary, Romania, Slovakia, Italy. I'm sure I'm missing some, but they're Holland. They're all open now for people to buy the product to join the business. We just literally, because of Tibor and you guys that are watching right now, we pushed the button to open these markets right. So you're first to really go to your friends, your networkers, your contacts to let them know this. And I think that when you see that in your community, if you're in Oslo, right? There's a lot of health conscious people in Oslo, right? And nobody is marketing this, and you're the first, you get market share. That means that you're probably going to be the one when word starts happening. Immunotec,
Mm.
Immunotec. Well, if Gorilla is the one talking about it, right? She's the one that people are going to go, oh, Gorilla's an Immunotec, and they're going to call, and you
Mm.
get first mover advantage. And I've seen it happen in many markets in Europe that the early adopters, I call them the pioneers. Sometimes you get the arrows in the back, right? Because they're coming after you. You're the first ones in.
Yeah.
But that, what's and by the way, what I mean by that is sometimes there's some pain, right? In the beginning when we launched, there wasn't translations, there wasn't some of those things done. So there's some pain sometimes that happens as for early adopters, but the pain turns into profit for the early adopters much more often than it does for people who join 10 years later. And I watched somebody, she said, have you heard anything on tendonitis? So I don't even know. I know what tendonitis is, but I don't know, is it a chronic disease? Is it a chronic condition? If it is, I guarantee you, if you just go and type in to Chat GPT, will high levels of glutathione in the body help reduce tendonitis pain or whatever it is? Let all the research that AI can pull from, let it tell you if it does. Because what I found is that glutathione levels that are low impact virtually every chronic disease. You can ask it that way too. Sometimes you got to ask ChatGPT multiple ways to get the answers that you're looking for, not the answers that you agree with. I'm talking the answers that you're looking for. So if somebody has tendonitis, I would ask ChatGPT, if I increase my levels of glutathione greatly in my body, will that help my tendonitis? And it'll tell you. But I would also reverse that, and you could do this with anything. I would
Mm.
say, if I have low levels of glutathione in my body, could that affect me having a worse experience with tendonitis, right? And you can take tendonitis out and put in anything you want. And I like asking it both ways because you see different perspectives, but all of a sudden you can see low levels equals bad, high levels equals good.
Thank you so much for that wisdom. Absolutely. So, I mean, I wrote down another question here. You often hear this positioning matters, but timing matters more. From your perspective as a president, why is someone who joins or learns about Immunotech now in a much stronger position than someone who waits 6 or 12 months? You
Yeah.
were touching on that, but maybe we
Yeah,
can just,
I'll expand on it briefly.
yeah.
I've never had a great I've never been positioned in my entire career. I've never been put in a power leg. I've never been put
Mm,
somewhere where I got some bunch of people under me. I just never got that. But
mm,
I did join companies at the right time
mm,
before they went to momentum and when some tweaks could be made to go to the next level.
mm,
And I've already shared with you my experience, and that's a personal experience, but I could tell you the people in that company in 2007, 2008, there was many people who became extremely wealthy, multimillionaires because of it. In the company from 2011 to 2021, where we created $5 billion, there were hundreds of millionaires, hundreds of multimillionaires created with a 10-year-old company. And none of them had positioning like there because it was a unilevel, right? Positioning didn't matter. So
right.
timing inside of a company can absolutely make a difference. where you join, if you're placed 5 levels deep under somebody, or if you're front line to the company, or you're 100 levels away from it's irrelevant, because
Mm.
ultimately we have the ability to go out as an individual and build the team. And it starts with you. And what I would share with you is that your goal, if you're new, and all of your new people, we're going to be publishing this, if it isn't already up, this is in color online, but the building your business fast, it's the getting started guide for Canada, Europe, and America. And we teach new people to go silver in their first 7 days, to go gold in their first 30 days, to go diamond in their first 90 days. Now, does everybody do it? Of course not. But here's what's been happening. There's an old saying I heard a long time ago that I like most boys when I was a little kid, and I have an 11-year-old son, and
Hmm.
we exaggerate things, right? We say things that may not be the full truth, right? When you're a boy and you're trying not to get in trouble,
Oh yeah.
you may say something that's not true. And I remember I was getting talked to when I was very young, and I don't know if it was my dad or some other, father figure in my life, but they said, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you say. And I thought it always stuck with me. And like from that day forward, I'm like, if I just tell the truth, I don't got to remember what story did I tell this person? What did I say this? What did I say this? And I think a lot of that is true when it comes to this business is I just want to share the facts with you, right?
Mm.
You got to create your own story. I can tell you all the science. I can tell you the comp plan. I can tell you the company. I can tell you positioning. But ultimately, it starts from you that you got to go out and build a business. You have the facts on your side like never before in the history of direct sales. So it's up to you to take advantage of that and to spearhead it. So what we've seen, the reason I tell you that story, what we saw when I first joined the company is that people were taking like 4, 5, 6 months to go gold. And again, nothing wrong with that. But like gold is $10,000 in sales US, right? Maybe that's 9,000 euros in sales,
Yeah.
8,500 euros in sales
Mm.
in a month. Like on your team, not personal, like your team volume, like that's the sales. I mean, and it's taken people 6 months to do that. Like I was doing that like daily. Like with new
Yeah.
people, they're going out, they're recruiting 3 or 4 people, they're getting in the system, they're moving. You build this business love speed.
Hmm.
So we started pushing people to go silver in their first 7 days. That's 3 people that enroll just like you. Go gold in your first 30 days. That's just taking 3 people that join like you and helping 3 people go silver, you're gold. And when we started talking about it that way, that it was easy, all of a sudden the 6 months became 5, became 4, became 3. Now we're seeing a much bigger percentage of people that join, that go silver their first 7 days, and they go gold their first full month, right? Because they don't think it's as hard because we've now put it into our getting started plan. And we've seen the same thing with Diamond. I mean, last month, I had to look. I mean, the month's not over, obviously. Today's the last day of the month. So many of
Yeah.
you may be hitting gold for the first time, or maybe some of you will be hitting diamond. I just saw there was 2 new diamonds pop up in the US just earlier today.
Yeah.
When I first got started, like there was months that would go by that you wouldn't see new diamonds in the US. You'd see them in Latin America, but you wouldn't see them in the US. Now we're seeing them pop all over Europe, seeing them pop in Canada, seeing them pop in the US. So we're presenting the timing, the facts, showing you everything that's on your side. And I'm just a big believer. It's like when they say you go and you gamble, right? You want to stack the cards in your favor. And I think when you look at Immunotech, the cards are stacked in your favor.
I like card analogies. Actually, it's very good. So the company is debt free.
Yep.
It wasn't privately owned before, but it turned into privately
It did.
2000.
It was actually, so it was started in Canada in
Hmm.
1996. Now, this is interesting. I mean, I'm 48, so I'm not young. I feel young, and I think most people 45 to 55, we probably feel like we're 30 to 35.
Yeah.
A lot of
True.
us, at least. I mean, we have that mentality
Yes.
because we can't believe like how the hell or did we graduate high school 30 years ago? Like that just doesn't, I can't even imagine that, but it's the way it is now.
Time
I say
flies.
that to say I was a senior. I was in my 12th grade year in 1996. I graduated high school in 1996. That's the year this company started.
Oh, wow.
And so you think about the separation, the time. So when I was 18 years old,
Hmm.
this company started. And it was a Canadian company. It started with two doctors and an entrepreneur named Dieter Beer. Dieter's still alive, is very successful. I believe he's probably hit the billionaire list at this point.
Oh, wow.
And he, over the years, he took the company public on the Canadian stock market. So it
Hmm.
was like on the Canadian NASDAQ or something. This is a long time ago.
Right.
So then in 2017, Mauricio Domenzijn, the current CEO owner, he was an executive, just like I was an executive in another company. He was an executive in another company. And part of his job was mergers and acquisitions of
Oh.
other companies.
Mhm.
And he heard about Immunotec because it had a lot of Spanish influence across their business. It was open in Mexico already, it was open in Latin America. And he started looking at it to buy it for this other company that he was an executive with.
Oh.
And that company said, we're not interested in that product. We're not interested in science. We're not interested in any more details. And
Hmm.
he said, I think it could be a great fit. I think it's like a sleeping giant. This product is remarkable. And he's like, I don't think they figured out how to market it yet. I think they've got a lot of science, but they've not figured out how to actually take it to market, get it in people's hands, and then scale that. And they said, Mauricio, we have no interest. And he said, okay, if you have no interest, will you sign something that if I want to pursue this company, that there's no conflict of interest, that I could pursue this on my own? They said, absolutely.
Hmm.
Signed it. He went, raised the money, bought the company in 2017. That year did like 50 million in sales globally. The whole company did 50 million in sales.
Hmm.
And last year we did like 200 million in sales. So you think 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020 had COVID, consistent growth, chipping away, and now 2025, right? 200 million and still predominantly stayed in the Latino market because Mauricio's Latino, right? He's Mexican, lives
Right.
in the woodlands in Houston, but his first language is Spanish. So it was
Hmm.
very natural for him to just do the business in Mexico, do the business in California, in Texas, in Latin America, Colombia, Bolivia, right? Peru, everybody speaks Spanish, Spain. So he focused there, building that foundation and now, when you think about the opportunity in Europe, there's nothing like it. Find me a company that's brand new in Europe that has a 30-year track record, that
Mm.
has a product with all the science that we have and the people that get the results, that's relatively priced and has a killer compensation plan that you can launch and go through just the bonus money. You can make an extra $20,000 in your first 8 months by hitting diamond. You can qualify for an extra $20,000. That's that gold 5,000 and the 15 for diamond. So,
Remarkable.
that's through July. So all new members who got started in April, May, June, and July, you've got what, 4 full months to go diamond and get an extra $5,000. You got 8 full months to go, I'm sorry, gold and get $5,000. You got 8 full months to go diamond and get an extra 15. So timing couldn't be better.
Ah, that's amazing. And so, what gives you the confidence that this isn't just another trend, but a real sustainable movement in the network marketing space?
It's a good question, but I think that the answer is just in the history.
Mm.
Like you don't last 30 years and grow from 50 million to 200 million consistently if it's a fad, right? I
Mm.
had I was a part of a fad. Um, we had
Prior.
growth from 2011, 2011, yeah, 2011 for 6 years. We had a 6 year run where we created the majority of that $5 billion in sales. There was
Mm.
probably a billion after that. over a period of time. But it was a fad. It was a novelty product. Facebook was new. Before and after pictures weren't that prevalent. And people, we had a product that women specifically, they had to try it, right? Because it was like, if it worked, like I gotta try it. And
Mm,
and women did around the world, and it was a fad. And you know what it did? It went up and then it went down.
mm.
So today, that company that did $5 billion in sales, we were doing $700 million a year. That company today is no longer in business, right? They sold for $30 million in stock that may or may not be worth anything, right? So you think about that, that was a fad, right? That was I don't know if you guys, we celebrate obviously the 4th of July with fireworks in the US. So we have these things called bottle rockets, and they're firecrackers. So they look like a stick, and they got a little thing on the end and a wick, and you light it and you put
Right.
it in a bottle or something. Or if you're like me, we throw them at each other, and they just take off. Well, if you light a bottle rocket with a lighter and you set it, in a cup like this, and it
Uh-huh.
takes off in the air, what's it do? It shoots up, and then the stick falls to the ground.
Mm,
That's a lot of network marketing companies, bottle rocket companies. They
mm,
go up and then they go down. I have no interest in that. I've experienced that.
mm.
It can be okay to do that because you can make enough in a period of time to set yourself up for life. I'm a perfect example. But when I look at Immunotech, I go, this hasn't been this and then this. This has been this, right? Consistent growth over a period of time. At some point in the next year, what's going to happen is that we're going to take a big curve up, right? We've been specifically focused on scalable growth, duplication, getting the right foundation, making sure we got the right operations, making sure we get your product on time, making sure we pay you on time. And we do all that better than most, building up the organization of customer service to support all these multiple languages. But all of a sudden, like this Zoom that we're on here, there's dozens of these Zooms going on across Europe today. There's hundreds of these Zooms going across the US. There's hundreds of these Zooms going across Mexico. In the next year, we are on track. There's going to be this curve. And what that curve is an upward trend where it's essentially just more people hear about it more often because you hit enough people and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I've heard about that. I want to try it. And we've got some other products that are coming out that'll be, I call them door opener products, right? Not
Mm,
complex products, but more simple products.
mm,
So, like right now, being positioned with this, it's not a trend, it's not a fad. You've got the track record to go with it. But the good part about a trend, the good part about a fad is that at some point you go up. We kind of have the best of both worlds. You have this mentality of a newer company, not a startup, but like a new launch, right? You can be open in uh, Sweden for 20 years, but if you never do a launch event, if you never go in and launch the market, right? It's as if it's okay, just because I can ship product there doesn't mean that we're, launched.
right.
What we're seeing now is that you guys are launching your markets. You're
Yeah.
going to events, you're building this up. And I think that's where we get that excitement with the stability.
And there's some questions in the chat.
Oh,
Um, it's okay, Mike. One of the one questions I see is why has it not been sold in Europe until now? After all these years, it has been sold in US. Good question. I figure it's best to come from
yeah,
you.
great question. It has been sold in Europe. But my last example wasn't because of your question, but it's the answer. We've been open in Spain for several years, right? Spain's our number one market in Europe. We did $30 million in sales in Spain last year. We opened France in December 2024. Germany, Austria, Switzerland were open a year or two prior to that, UK prior to that. So we've been open shipping product into a few markets in Europe. And when you look as a network marketing guy, that's an executive that, you got to make decisions on where, there's only so much time in the day, only so many resources, only so much funds to go expand outside of your base. So when we look at expansion, Tibor and I have had this conversation many times. It's like, where do we go first and put our energy and our efforts? Well, the company saw growth happening in Spain. They focused their efforts on Spain. It's kind of like, I don't know if this analogy goes across the pond, but they say you can't catch two rabbits, right? One rabbit's going this way, one rabbit's going this way. You better pick one, focus on that one, let the other one go. So that's how you expand in network marketing. You have to expand based upon two things. Number one, where is the action potentially going to happen if you have none, right? And then you make a decision, right? It could be here, it could be here. And then you start looking at factors. In our case, it was Spain. So it's like, okay, Spain's the focus. And then the second thing is, does it actually come to fruition? Does it actually materialize and create sales? Well, Spain did. So the focus stayed on Spain. The focus stayed on Mexico. The focus stayed on the Spanish-speaking markets. Same question could be asked, why don't white guys and girls in America know about this product, right? It's been for sale for 30 years. And 100% of my neighbors, until I joined the company, never heard of Immunotec, right? And they're all health conscious. And there's network marketers that live by me. None of them ever heard of Immunotec. So the same thing is that it was very focused in certain markets, and that's a smart business decision. Now we have more resources, more money, more people like me that have experience in Europe, in Asia, in Canada, and now we're looking and we expanded across Europe now because the timing's right. Leadership, you guys, brought us to Europe. Tibor, other leaders like in Hungary, Shandor, Judith, Tibor, Kim, like they're the leading the way in Budapest. We never were doing business in Budapest, but there all of a sudden became sales. So we focused on that market. Then Scandinavia. Now we're looking at, kind of opening up all the markets in Europe that's in the EU, because once you start that process, it makes it a little easier because of the situation in the EU. Asia, we are, I'm not going to give you the details, but we will be open in Asia out of Hong Kong into one of the biggest markets in the world in the next 90 days. So there was an opportunity there. It was a 2-year build up to get to where we're at, but now it's time to go and attack that. So our focus is USA, Europe, and Asia, and all of those touch each other. The Americans touch the Europeans, touch the Asians, and everywhere else. So it's a nice focus right now where the world's at with health.
What's your
That's
big
great.
vision? Oh, excuse me, honey. I didn't know.
I was just gonna, with Yanni Jacobson, he had asked that question about Asia. So just let make sure that answered your question, Yanni. Go ahead, honey. I'm sorry.
Yeah. As El Presidente of Immunotec, what's your big vision for Immunotec for the next 3 to 5 years, especially with the European expansion?
Sure.
Because that's what we focus on here.
But there's two answers to that. It's the 2-year goal is to double the size of the company by the end of 2027. That is a large goal. I believe we're absolutely on track to do that. That means if we do 200 million last year, we need to create 400 million in 2027 sales, right? That's what that means. How do you do that? You expand, right? You can expand across the street and just build more people in a market, or you can open new territories like we've done in Europe. And because of our focus in Europe, I mean, we've got vice president of Europe, we've got full staff in Madrid, we've got 3, maybe 4 distribution centers in Europe. We're doing European tours. We have leaders from America and Europe that are coming over and doing different events across Europe. And we're just getting started. I mean, Tibor told you, like, we just met in January, I think. So, we're literally like 3 months old in our relationship, and we've already opened and started shipping to all of Scandinavia, Holland, right, Hungary, all of these different markets. So we're just not even scratched the surface We've just opened the markets to start receiving products. Nobody's really seen what 6, 8 months, a year on this product could do for them. And nobody's seen what a year of being consistent with the business and doing launch events in these markets can do for them. So vision is to double the size of the company by 2027. I believe you got to take, as a company person, you've got to take small steps. When I hear, I'm just being candid with you, it's my personality. I don't know how else to be. When I hear some of these guys, presidents, CEOs, owners, and they talk about their 10-year vision, to me, it's like I could care. Like, who knew COVID was going to happen?
Yeah.
Right? Like that threw everybody's vision off there. So I focus on micro time frames that we probably can control, right? Between now and 2027, the end of it, we know Europe is our focus. We're getting a footprint in Asia, and the US is our focus. So we know where we put our time, where we do our events, where we focus. So that's the short-term goal, is to double the size of the company. What does that mean to you? That means if right now we're doing 200 million in sales, that means we pay out on average a little under 100 million in commissions, right back to people, because we pay out like 47, 48, 49%, depending on the month. And so when we do 400, that means that like a little less than 200 million will be getting paid out in commissions. So that commissions goes to you, right? It goes to people that are the next 2 years focused on being consistent, building in the markets, doing the late night meetings, doing the things, and that raises your income. So when you think about general business, and I always say, go ask ChatGPT if what I'm saying is right. Historically, in network marketing, if you will focus, I call it success compression, compress the success. If you will focus for a short period of time, and by short period of time, I'm not talking about every day. I'm talking about like if you'll dedicate a year of your life, right? To me, that's a short period of time when you think about working for 40 years. Like, could I do something for a year? Maybe not every day, but I'm not gonna get distracted. I'm not gonna join 10 other companies. I'm not gonna go try 3 other products. I'm just gonna do this for a year. If you can do that, right now, being so new in Europe, the curve, you get a bigger piece of that. So the company will double, right? In America, we call that 2x, right? 2 times growth. We double the size of the company. If you will focus hard right now, your individual business will grow 5x, 10x, 20x, 100x, right? Because as we're starting to go through momentum as a company, you're doing it on your own business scale. But if you're currently, I'm making a number up, if you're making $500 a month, the odds of you getting to $10,000 a month are not real far off if you put in the time, energy, and effort over the next 12 months, because of the way the comp plan works, because of the new markets, because of the newness, because of what the product does. So you can go from 500 a month this month to 10,000 a month 8 months from now. And that's very realistic for the people that put in the time, energy, effort, and they go out and they focus and they don't get distracted. So that's vision one. Vision two, a personal thing for me and Mauricio, we've got a goal by 2030 to have created $1 billion in annual sales. So, we double the size of the company by 2027. That momentum curve, we believe, with some of our expansion plans, Europe will be a little bit more established then. We'll have more of a momentum hitting in Europe as well. Asia, Latin America is growing very well. We believe we can hit $1 billion in 2030. Again, that's great for the company. That's what everybody thinks when they hear $1 billion. It's not about the company. That means we're going to pay out a little less than $500 million that year in commissions to you, to people like you around the world that take advantage of it. So I look at this, Tibor, I look at this as a 5-year run from today. It's not that it's over in 5 years, but my focus, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm not doing projects. I'm not doing extras. I'm not looking right. I'm not looking left. I am focused between now and 2030. That's my focus as the president, that I know what it takes to create $1 billion in sales. I know what it takes to create multi-billion dollars in sales. It's very hard. But I also have seen the benefits in people's lives when you do that. And I've done it with so much less than what this company has already in place. And I think that the foundation is here, the product is here, the comp plan is here, the right leadership has started to join. And I think just looking at this Zoom at the people that are on here, we've got some tremendous, tremendous leaders. And I can't wait to see what you guys do and how we can support it.
Amazing.
Um,
So,
Tibor, one more question. I know you guys are
sorry.
gonna wrap things up here, but
Yes.
as far as the Asia goes, there is it a whole Asia country by country, like Thailand, Philippines, for example?
No, no, it'll start off with Hong Kong and we'll stay focused there for a pretty good time.
Okay, got it. Thank you. I'll turn it back to you guys.
And maybe Ni Hao country, who knows? Anyway, so just a couple of more questions, if you allow me for your time. Thank you
Sure.
so much. We love to have you on this interview. This is a special, more deep dive. I felt like, today I wanted everybody to get to know you, Mike, a little bit personally, and it's still beneficial because it's close up with you kind of thing.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So, for the entrepreneurs and the wellness seekers watching this or the replay of it, so what mindset or habits have you seen separate the people who build serious success with Immunotech from those who don't? A little bit short.
Can you repeat the question? I didn't
So, what
follow that.
mindset or habits have you
Oh,
seen separate the people who are serious success,
yeah.
has serious?
Great question. I'm doing a mini series right now on mindsets,
Yeah.
and it's in network marketing. There's a reason that I wear logos, right? There's a reason that you see me and the brand almost everywhere I go. In Europe, you will not see me in a suit. You will not see me in a tie. You will see me in a t-shirt with the Immunotec logo and a coat. Like, I'll look good, don't worry. But we will share the brand because I'm a believer. I don't care what country you live in, what market you're in, what continent you live on, what language you speak. I'm a big believer that if you feel you can do what I do, your psychological approach to this is totally different than if I show up, in a three-piece suit and I'm perfectly spoken and I smell good and every word is perfect and I don't hesitate and I don't stutter and I give the best presentation in the world. All of a sudden you're like, that's great for that guy. He's good. He's the president of the company. He can do these things.
Yeah.
This business mindset is all about duplication. There's a great book called Insanely Simple. I can't think of the guy who wrote it at the moment. I've got hundreds of books in my office, so I can't think of it, but I need to find who the author is. But it's called, you can look it up on Amazon, I'm sure. He was the art director or a creative director for Steve Jobs at Apple for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote this book called Insanely Simple. And the whole idea of it was everything you do, you got to hit it with a simple stick. And in network marketing, I have watched companies that have a crappy comp plan, no science on the products that you're not sure worked or they should even making the claims that they're doing. I've seen them create so much success with nothing because they made it so easy for people to do. They made
Yeah.
it so simple for people to do. I'm not suggesting that's right. Just for the record, I'm not suggesting you shouldn't have good products and all of that. I'm just telling you, when you think about it, if you just pull back and look at a fact and say, yeah, Ken Segal, thank you. That is him. Um, if your mindset is you need to learn everything and you need to tell everybody everything, you're probably going to build a slower business. If your presentations are an hour long, you're probably going to build a slower business. The mindset needs to be quick, simple, build curiosity, expose them to a tool, follow up, repeat. right? It's not a long, drawn out experience. If I'm sitting down with a prospect, my mindset needs to be, I need to ask them, have you ever heard of the body shot? Right? And they're like, body shot, what's that? Oh, would you like to try it? Right? Boom. Now I'm mixing it, right? And that's about all the product presentation you need to do. Let them experience it. People don't care what it does if they like the experience, right? Let them look that up when they get home. Just get them an experience as quick as you can. I don't know. Help me out here. Is Cogniva available in Europe, or is it going to be available in Europe? Do we have any idea yet? Okay. It probably will at some point, but I couldn't remember if it was because I got a note that it's going to be for sale in the US starting tomorrow. So, sorry. It's a great product. You'll like it when it gets there. But my point is that I'll use it as an example. It's an easy product to sample to someone, right? You can ask somebody, hey, do you know anybody who would like to have more energy? Well, who wouldn't like more energy? Here, take this. This is like drinking 3 cups of coffee. I mean, it's not exactly, but you get the idea. It makes you feel good, gives you energy. It's a nootropic. So you don't have to be an expert at this business. Your mindset needs to be whatever comes out of my mouth needs to be able to be repeated by the brand new person that I just talked to without any training. And that's not easy to do, just for the record. It is harder to keep it simple than it is to complicate it. But I can tell you, when you want to grow the business fast, there is a distinct difference in those that scale to big numbers and get there. Most of them don't know the comp plan. They don't know how the hell they even, got to where they're at. They're like, I'm diamond. How in the world I do that? Because they looked at this document. They looked at a diagram. They said, I got to get 3 people who do this. Okay, I'm going to go figure out how to do that. And they don't worry about the rest, right? For 8 years. So I'm the head of a multi-billion-dollar company from 2011 to 2021. The first 8 years, the head of sales, marketing, strategy, all of that fell under me. I never gave one from the front of the room, back of the room, private presentation. I never gave a compensation plan presentation. I never told them what the bonuses were. I never went through it because I didn't have to. Because we had a system that we told people, do this, get this, right? So get some customers, get this amount of money. And that was step 1, right? That's what we told people. So in Immunotec, when you think about this, it's get 10 customers. You're going to earn about $500 a month. And now you're maximizing the bonus. So that's do this, get this. Doesn't take an expert to learn that. 10 customers, $500. Okay. So it would make sense to go, if I get 20 customers, that could be $1,000. Well, I can tell you 200 customers pays 10 grand if they buy the body shop bundle. So all of a sudden, if you just want to go get customers and you start clicking away and go, hey, I got 13 customers. Holy cow. 200 minus 13. Here's the number that I need. I'm making 10 grand a month or more.
Oh, wow.
Right. So in comp plans in that company, same thing. We had a very simple system. At that point, we told people they need to get 4 people to join with them. And that became, I can't remember the name of it, but it's essentially like our silver, right? So when we say silver in 7 days, people don't need to go pull out the whole comp plan to figure out exactly what they need. No, you bought the pack. You need 3 people to buy the pack, and you're silver, and the average income of silver is like $300 to $500, right? Take the product, use the product, share the product with the people. If you will keep things simple like that, I can tell you, we will bring that simplicity to Europe when we come. We'll bring it all across America. And, there's some markets that won't accept that simplicity. I am aware of that. But as a company, we've made the decision that we're going to lead with simplicity. We're going to lead with the brand because history shows us that if we do that, it's proven to be a better build, a better experience, a longer term community feel with a stable company.
So if somebody's sitting on the fence right now and thinking, is this for me? What would you say to them directly?
The product is absolutely for them. The product is for every person 2 years old to 200 years old. I think that when you look at the business, that's going to depend on what you want to get out of it. You know, if you want to do a business, if you want to be a part of a community, if you want to earn free trips, you know, around the world, if you want to get together with people and be a part of something bigger than you and make a lot of money, if you want to quit your job, if you want to make an extra $3,000 a month, 3,000 euros a month, I say do it, because it's absolutely possible here. It's happening right before our eyes, right? We're all a part of it. It's real, right? On this call, there's two or three, four diamonds, right? So it's happening. So you know the company's already opening in markets. So I would tell you, you got to get on the product. It will absolutely change you and your family's life. And then on the business side, if you want more out of life, I can tell you this. I've looked, when I talked to Mauricio, we'll go back to the very beginning of this Zoom, and I wasn't looking for a business, I was looking for a product. After I saw what he shared with me on the business side, and I saw the opportunity to take advantage of timing and introduce it to people like you guys, and you take advantage of timing, I did pause for a second and I went and looked. I go, okay, I've been out of the game for about a year, year and a half. I've been retired. So I went out and looked. I looked at other companies. I flew around the world. I'm like, I need to go evaluate, make sure I'm not missing something. If I'm going to go do this, I want to make sure I do it one more time and we picked the right company. I believe this was it, but you know, there's always that little bit of doubt, right? It's the devil on one side, the angel on the other. The devil was saying, you should probably go take a look. So I did. I went and looked at a dozen companies that I felt had potential just on the outside looking in, and I checked them off one by one. Most of it was the people at the top I didn't ultimately trust. I didn't like their track record. I didn't like the way they interacted with their employees. I didn't like their demeanor. I didn't like, you know, I'm all about sarcasm and having a good time. But when you're rude to your own staff in front of people,
Mm.
I know you're probably going to be rude to the field, and that won't last very long, because the last thing I want to think about is an owner or an executive ticking off a field leader and then the field leader quits because they got their feelings hurt. Like, if you can avoid things going into situations, you should. It's what we do with our product development, right? We don't put sugar in our products. If there's sugar in our products, we remove them, right? You get rid of questionable things. And I looked, Tibor, I looked around the industry. I looked at comp plans. Some of the comp plans were so confusing. Some comp plans today, I can't believe we're in 2026, and some comp plans, you literally, when it's all done, there's one in Europe, they don't even show you the money you make. You earn like these tokens or something, and then there's a formula that you have that could change based on currency and all that. And that's where you'll find out what you make later, right? And I'm being a little facetious, but like
Yeah.
there's that's complexity, right?
Yeah.
That's not exciting to me. And I think that people want straightforward answers, good leadership, long-term track record, stability, but the sexiness to be first in the market with something like this.
Yeah, and you having a tremendous track record, Mike, and after meeting you, I felt I'm absolutely right place because in the end, you know, as I told you back in the days, I grew up in the restaurant business. My parents opened a restaurant. My dad was a chef, so they had three restaurants, and they also always told me, Tibor, if you ever do restaurants, I was like, no, you guys are working all day long. You're never home, so no restaurant for me. I only eat. Anyway, I did a lot of dish. I'm a professional dishwasher after school, and they said the chef is the most important employee you ever can have. It's all about the chef. And that's why I felt when I met you, and then later Mauricio also in Houston. Oh my goodness. I get chills because I have, you know, in me, my core and my 33 years in the industry, I have been yearning for a company with these these ethos as you guys have. You know, it's not only about the business.
Yeah.
You can make money with a lot of things in this world, but having the right chef being because as networkers, metaphorically speaking, we are just servers in the restaurant. If the chef cook it right, you can be an average server and still have fun, and it's okay. But the other way around doesn't work. So if you have a
Yeah.
bad chef and you can be the best server in the
Yeah.
restaurant, you
Very
can't
true.
overcompensate the bad chef. So you guys are absolutely top notch. Kudos. If I had a hat, I would do like this, but this is like the best I can do right now. Last question, Mike, and thank you so much again for your time. Finally, what are you most excited about for the people joining us on this call today?
I think to have the ability to earn these bonuses, every single one of you, you're still in your first 8 months of business. I created bonuses in 2012, very similar to what we have here, what we created here.
Mhm.
And it was the catalyst. Once you used it to recruit people, almost like a carrot, like bait. You
Mhm.
know, if you think about, I like fly fishing for trout.
Yeah,
And,
nice.
you know, when I think about the bait that I put on, you put on the fly, you look around, you know, wherever you're at, you can almost grab these flying bugs, and that's the kind of flies that you make, and you put it in, and the fish hit it.
Yeah.
And I look at these bonuses, if you just think about it, to create gold, it's about 10,000 in sales, right? 10,000 US dollars in sales in a month. It's not a lot. It's not a little, but it's not a lot when you're with what many of you have done in your past experiences. So if you create that and then you just maintain that the next month, right? Don't even grow, just maintain that. We're going to pay you commissions plus an extra 500 bucks. And then just maintain that. Don't even grow. We're going to do the exact same thing. So, like for 10 months, that's $5,000. Now, what I want, when I say you have to use it as bait, what I saw in 2012 when we introduced this, we had a bonus that was very similar to this. It was actually harder to earn. It paid out over 2 years. I mean, it was crazy, the stipulations that I put on it back then.
Mm.
This is do very little in sales, get an extra $5,000. So when I say that, to say the urgency, the bait, when you're in the marketplace, talking to people and trying to explain a compensation plan gets complex. But if I go up to somebody and I say, hey, Eva, could you use an extra $5,000 in the next 30 days? Like she's listening, right? I got her attention. Like, yeah, what are we doing? Right? So now you've got their attention. So if you will use these bonuses, the 5,000 gold and the $15,000, it is extra. It is temporary. It is not part of the compensation plan. But if you use it as a bait, if you will, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm talking
Yeah,
about it
yeah.
more in a fishing way. Um,
Mm.
if you use that to get their attention and then just show them that, don't show, don't focus on platinum, right? Focus on gold and maintaining gold, get 5 grand in addition to your other commissions. And then focus on diamond, get 15 grand in addition to your commissions. That's what I'm the most excited about for people right now is that you have in Europe, in Canada, and the US. Latin America doesn't have it. You've got that $5,000 and $15,000 bonus to use for recruiting. And so many times, if you can just show somebody how they could put an extra 20 grand in their pocket in the next 8 months, that gets their attention.
Right.
So that's what I'm most excited about. And I'm excited about the end of this month. You guys have, when you go to bed a little earlier on the month end than we do, but you've got till midnight Central Time, which is what, like nine, I can't do math in my head like that, 9 hours or something. Um, Something like maybe 10 hours. I'm not,
Frode, you had a question. Did you have a question, Frode? I saw your hand was
Yeah,
up.
Yeah,
Frode
yeah.
has the yellow hand up.
If
oh,
if I may. So yeah, thank you very much. And this has been the longest and the most interesting meeting in my 2-month-old
Immunotech
Immunotech
career.
career. Amazing time that you put in here, Mike. Thank you so much.
very welcome.
And it's 2 months ago I heard the first presentation. I couldn't believe my ears. So I called up this new friend of mine, Gøril, in northern Norway, just to ask her, did you actually speak truth here? Because this is just crazy. And it turns out this product has some huge potential, and obviously the business side of things is just amazing. And I'm been very intrigued by this story about the company itself and how you detailed it together today, Mike. Was absolutely crucial for me because I see that this is so unusual. I've never seen anything like this situation ever.
Right.
So and you're putting these bonuses in, and it clearly shows that the company is coming to Europe, and they are putting in extra cash to grow into the market and build a huge momentum. And it's these people that are here in this room that can really grasp this this extra bonus for the next 2, 3, 4 months and build the basis of our organizations in a way that it's unheard of, completely unheard of. So for me, I made the decision today. I booked my flights, my hotel, and I will see Mike and Tibor and Maurizio next week in Budapest. I can't wait to get
Bro
there.
there! Woo!
And lay out the plan for the next months going forward. I'm looking so much forward to this. So thank you guys for putting this up. Thank you.
Look forward to it. If everybody could do me a favor, I'd love to get a picture. Can everybody turn on their cameras just for a second? And we can take a quick picture, and I'll give shout outs on my social media so we can let everybody know who's on here and sharing.
Okay,
all right,
let's see if I can
turn them on. We've got many more people on. Just click it on for a second. Once everybody's on, we'll get a picture and we'll be good. I know it's nighttime. I know some of you are like, I don't want to have my picture taken. Don't worry, and I'm not going to zoom in on anybody specifically, except Hannah. Hannah, sorry, no, I'm joking. I'm totally joking. All right, who else? Do we got anybody else on here? Not everybody's got their camera on, but I won't beg. All right, we'll take this. Let me let this. I'm trying to get
I will take one.
numbers off. Here we go. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to take everybody smile. All right, thumbs up. Let's do thumbs up. All right, now I got to take a quick video. You don't got to say anything, but I'm just going to put music to it. So I'm going to talk through it, but I'm just going in here, exciting. A lot of people in Europe just showing it off. All right, rock and roll. Thank you, everybody. My pleasure. I will talk to you, many of you, next week in person. And until next time, Tibor, Kim, thanks for inviting me on.
Thank you, Mike. Been awesome.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, everybody.
See you guys.
Massive hugs.
Putting out to you guys.
We are Immunotec,
Hey, see you
the
next week. Cheers.
precursor company.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Take care, Monica.
Yeah, we own the night. Get your growth on. Get your growth on. Longevity, optimization, wellness, so bold. Immunotec family, let the story unfold. Skin starting shining, eyes full of spark. Recovery fast.